In this next step you'll see our basic order of operation. You can see the big whole acorns over here. There's more in a bag. Over here are the acorns that have been split in half with a nutcracker. And I've got help tonight. What they're doing is popping those halves out. You can see the acorns. There's a pile growing over here. And once we've removed all these acorns from the shell, the next step will be to put them in my blender and make my acorn meal. Now I could at this stage actually dry out these nuts in my dehydrator, but I prefer to dehydrate the wet meal into dry flour. So our next step is going to be grinding up these acorns. Alright, we're in the kitchen today, and what I'm doing is grinding all the acorn meal and water in my mixer. And what I typically do is spend a few days gathering nuts and shell them all and keep them in the refrigerator until I'm ready to begin processing them. As you can tell, I've started the grinding. Over here is my knee-high pantyhose with the meal in it after it's been under running water. And what I'm going to do is just simply grind all of these nuts up, and when I've completed the grinding and rinsing of all the nuts and I have all my flour ready, I'll proceed with showing you how to dehydrate this meal. Good afternoon, this is Tam Wendell with Bushcraft on Fire, and today I am so excited to be able to show you the new dehydrator that I obtained. It is called the Excalibur Food Dehydrator, and in my opinion the best dehydrator on the market. And I'll show you a little bit about the machine before we begin to do the acorn flour. On the back here is a removable door, very simple. And inside are 9 trays, so you have a lot of space here to dehydrate. Each one of these trays is microwave safe, and it comes with these plastic mesh, as it were, so you can place your fruit and vegetables to dehydrate. And the airflow, if you look on the side here, the airflow comes in through the side. The regular models that I've used before are in a circle, and there'll be a fan on the top. Not this one at all. The fan is actually located in the rear. And on top, if you take a look on top here, it comes with a most amazing drying guide. It tells you what temperatures to do your food. There's a temperature setting as well as a timer up to 36 hours. Now the reason it's so important to have a temperature setting that I learned was all different food dehydrates at different temperatures, and a lot of us have been literally killing the food that we're trying to dehydrate for our own food purpose. So that being said, if you follow the guide, and they give you manuals as well, if you dehydrate according to the temperature settings, you're only removing the liquid out of the food, which is dehydration, instead of killing the living enzymes and killing the food in the process of dehydrating. So once again, this is the Excalibur Food Dehydrator. They come in different sizes, and this one is the large model with 9 trays. Another thing you're going to need while you're making flour are these tray liners. These come from Excalibur, and they call them Paraflex Premium, and they're just a non-stick reusable sheet. So you can put any food that would normally fall through the holes, you can protect with this tray. So what I'm going to do is fill up my dehydrator with the flour. Now you saw I had a bag of acorns, a gallon bag, as well as 3 small jars. It made this much of the wet flour. So what I'll do is fill these trays with the wet flour and then show you the next step. I'm going to break it up. It got a little crumbly as I was making it, it's nowhere near dry. So you want to put enough on, and then spread it out to the edges. Alright, as you see here, I've spread the flour. I don't want to go any thicker than this because I need the air to be able to dry all the moisture out of the flour. And then all I do is slide it in the tray and start my next tray. And I'll fill up this tray, and then I'll talk to you about setting the timer and the temperature we're going to do this on. I'm back again. All of my 9 trays are full. I put the Acorn meal on these non-stick Paraflex trays. The unit's full, and the lid is very, very simple. It just pops on like that. I've set the temperature gauge to 105. That's for living foods, and being as these are nuts, the acorns that I picked from the woods, it's a living food, so it's being set at 105. I'll be turning the timer to 4 hours. You can hear it really doesn't make a loud noise at all. After 4 hours, I'll come in and I'll stir up the flour on the trays just to help with the drying process. 4 hours have now passed, so I took the front cover off of the dehydrator, and I'll show you. This is after 4 hours, and when I just sort of lift it up and fluff it out, you see it turns a lighter color. And what I'll do is I'll fluff up all 9 of the drawers, and then I'm going to put it back in, and I'm just going to let the dehydrator run overnight. The nice thing about having a timer is if you have to go out somewhere, you don't have to worry about being home to shut it off. It'll just turn off on its own. But being as I'm here, I'll just turn it off in the morning when I get up, and I'll show you what the flour looks like at that point. Good morning. The dehydrator stopped running, and I've taken out a few trays. I'll show you as I pull them out. There's just no moisture left in this meal. At this point, it sort of feels like a rough flour. However, once you run it through a flour sieve, it becomes incredibly soft, and it has a feeling very similar to that of cornstarch. It's a very light, fluffy brown flour. So what I'll do is I'll empty out all the trays, and once I've taken all the trays out, I'll just run them quickly through the flour sieve, and then I'll put them into a container with a lid and keep it for my flour use over winter. The amount of flour that'll come out will more than fill this one container, so I'll have at least 2 of these containers. I'm sure some of you will be wondering how much it would cost to run a big monster dehydrator like this. Well, really, it's only 3 to 5 cents per hour, or 25 cents for a whole day of this thing running. So that's incredibly cost effective, and that's the Excalibur Dehydrator. Thanks for joining me, and I sure hope that you get out there, gather yourself some acorns, and practice making your own flour. This is Tam Wendell with BushcraftOnFire, thanking you for joining me as I showed you the steps of making your own dehydrated acorn flour. So, transforming acorns into 2 good tubs of acorn meal. My extra meal didn't fit in the dehydrator, so now I have another 8 cups of frozen acorn meal in the freezer as well. So thank you, and we'll see you soon on another video. Have a great day.